Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you can, before we get started, hit a like button down below, or if you can whack a comment down below, that would be fantastic. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you have any thoughts on feedback from this podcast, again, just whack it down below, guys, so I can read your comments. I read every single comment that goes through my podcast, guys. We're going through how to not make shit decisions. And I think it's an awesome conversation because I think we're all guilty of doing it. I certainly am. I'm very guilty of letting my emotions get the better of me and making decisions while drunk on emotions. So I want to dive into that today and just give you guys a little bit of a step-by-step of what you can do to improve your decision-making process, because your life is a reflection of your decisions. If you look at where your life is right now, there's been a series of decisions that have led you to exactly where you are now. The decision to look after your health, your decision of what career path to go into, decisions to whether to do more self-development outside of work, your decision to start a business, the decision to start dating someone, the decision to leave someone. All of those are decisions. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a thinking model or a bit of a framework on how I make decisions now and compare that to what I used to do and why I used to make very, very poor decisions. So what I want to go through, first things first, when you are drunk on emotions, which is the same as being drunk on chemicals, which is the same as being drunk on alcohol or other substances, is you do not see the full picture. It's like, think of it. Have you ever made a decision while you were drunk? Let's use alcohol because most people can relate to it, but you can use other substances in this question as well. Have you ever been drunk on alcohol and made a shit decision? Most people have. I certainly have as well. And the reason you're doing that, or one of the reasons you're doing that, is when you are not poised and balanced and neutral, and you are emotionally lopsided with your level of focus, perceptions, and emotions, is you do not see all the information that's in front of you. You block out literally half the amount of information. Think about this. Think about when you were having an argument with someone, a really heated discussion, you were really angry, you're really frustrated, there was a lot of negative energy. In that moment, did you see all the positives, how much you love this person, how grateful you are for this person? Absolutely not. You're literally drunk on rage or drunk on anger or drunk on emotions, and it's literally skewing your perception where you don't see the full picture. So if you want to not make so many shit decisions or make better decisions, is you want to learn how to be neutral. Learn how to regulate your emotions, because if you're drunk on emotions, just like being drunk on alcohol, is you're not seeing the full picture. You're seeing a lopsided, diluted version of it because it's masked or influenced by the amount of emotion that's in your perception at that time. So again, just use examples. Think of a time where you was really stressed or really anxious or really angry or really frustrated, and did you make great decisions in that moment? Probably not, because you're making it through the lens, or you're seeing things through the lens of that emotion. So before we can make decisions, or before you make better decisions, is you want to make sure you're as neutral as possible so you can see as much data and information as possible. Because the more drunk you are on emotions, the less you're going to see. The more emotionally skewed you are, the less you're able to take in, and therefore the less amount of information you have to make the best decision possible. So the first things first is make sure you're in a neutral state of mind. So that includes breath work, and I've said this many times on my podcast, is I use the 5 in, 5 hold, 5 out approach. You can use any variation of breath work, but breathe in for 5, hold it for 5, and let it out for 5. And you repeat that 5 times through, and you just want to get poised. You want to be present. You want to be as neutral as possible. You might go do yoga. You might go meditate. You might do some journaling. There's other modalities and strategies to do it. Whatever you need to do, get as neutral as possible so you're not drunk on those emotions, okay? So that's step 1. So step 1, regulate. Step 2, is you want to get as much data and information as possible. I think this comes through social media and Hollywood, and just seeing, I guess cliche business people, businessmen, businesswomen, or entrepreneurs, or decision makers, or dictators. I certainly had this perception growing up, is that you should, in quotations, be able to make decisions quickly, promptly, and in the moment. And there's truth to that. Sometimes it is important to be able to react and pivot quickly in the moment. There are time and places for that. But more often than not, it's actually better to take your time and go gather as much intelligence and data as possible. I'll share a little example. The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belford, it's the guy off the movie, and depending on your opinion on him, whether or not you like him or don't like him, fantastic salesperson, really, really good salesperson. And he uses this story, and it's an awesome story that really demonstrates what I'm trying to get across here, is this company grabbed or gathered like all the top salespeople from around the country in all their different industries and got them all together. And they got all these salespeople, and they set up this sort of situation where they had to sell this person this product or service. However, they had convinced the person who's going to be sold to, they told them no matter the circumstance, no matter what happens, do not buy from this person. And all these salespeople, besides Jordan Belford, they were very arrogant, very cocky, and very much, look, I'll go in there easy as I'm just going to wing it and I'm going to make it happen. Where Jordan Belford was the only one who said, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Person organizing this, can I just have another 20 minutes to organize my spiel? And he was doing his homework, getting his information, role playing, doing what he needed to do. Person comes back, says, hey, you ready to go? He's like, hey, can I have another 15 minutes? Goes away. Jordan's doing his notes, rehearsing, getting as much information as possible. Person come back again. He says, hey, can I have another 15 minutes? And he does, etc. He's the only person who took more than 5 minutes to actually process, get data, think through, strategize through this situation. And then anyways, he's finally ready. He gets into it and he has this very elegant, beautiful script, beautiful questions, beautiful framing. And he's the only person who was able to sell this person, who was told by the person setting this up, no matter what happens, do not buy from this person. But because he read through the script, the data, the information, this person, what he's selling, why he's selling it, who's he selling to, he got as much data and information as possible. He was able to strategize, make the best decision around his sales approach, and get the job done. So I guess what I'm trying to really get across to you is get out of the mindset and mind frame that you have to make these harsh, direct, snappy, instant decisions. Sometimes that will be the case. Sometimes you're in the heat of the battle and you're at war and you're in the battlefield and you've got to make those really quick, swift decisions. There's time and places for that. However, more often than not, it's not the case. You might be being pressured or bullied into making the decision. And something I used to do for a long time and why my decision-making process was so shit is I felt guilty and pressured into giving an answer even if I hadn't thought through the fucking answer yet. So now when people come to me or I'm in a situation where it is time to make a big decision, when people ask me questions and I don't have the answer, instead of sitting there and trying to act like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, which a lot of people do because they don't want to look stupid, they don't want to look dumb, they don't want to look silly, is they'll say a half-cooked answer or give a half-baked answer, even though they haven't really thought through it. So the old me would do something along the lines. It would say, hey, Lewis, here's the situation, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? What do you want to do about it? The old me would kind of just think on my feet and think on my toes and come up with some fucking half-cooked, half-bullshit answer that I haven't really thought through yet because I felt pressured, because I thought that I had to, because I felt stupid, or I thought I looked stupid in front of my team for not coming up with an answer, versus what I do now. Someone comes to me and says, hey, Lewis, this happened, this happened, this happened. Here's all the information. Here's what's going on. Now what I do is I say, if I don't have the data necessary, if I'm not confident in making a decision there and then, what I'll say is, thank you so much for bringing me that information. Thank you for asking me the question. Just to be transparent with you, right now I don't have enough information to give you a really solid answer. However, can you just give me a day or two? I'm going to go away. I'm going to make the right phone calls, look up the right information, really think through this and get back to you with a really solid answer. That's my approach now, because I used to feel like, because of whatever was going through my head, I've seen it off fucking movies, off Hollywood, whatever's happened, is I feel like you just had to be that super sharp, super dominant, super elegant decision maker in the moment. Yes, there's times for that, but a lot of the times that's not the case. So the next time someone's trying to pressure you into making a decision or pressure you into coming up with some fucking answer and you don't have enough information, you don't feel like you've thought through it enough to give them an answer, don't give them a fucking half-cooked, half-baked answer. just say, hey, look, thank you for coming to me. Thank you for asking me the question. To be honest with you, I don't have enough information right now to give you a proper answer. Please just give me a day or two. I'm going to go away, make the necessary phone calls, get the necessary information, and get back to you with a proper thought out decision instead of just giving you a really off the cuff answer right now. That's been a huge shift in my decision-making process, is not just giving them off-the-cuff bullshit answers without actually, one, making the right phone calls, getting all the information that I need possible, and actually thinking through it properly. So if you just shift that way of thinking and decision-making, your decision-making process and decision-making skill, like a muscle, will get a lot stronger. Third step is when you are collecting information, and whether this be like a conversation, because you might not have the time to go away and make the phone calls and meditate and journal and whatever, you might be in the conversation with that person, you need to kind of push the conversation forward, is I just want you to really think through what your intention is with the conversation. I'd love for you to have the intention, instead of listening to react or respond, is to listen to understand. That shift right there really has changed my energy, my presence, my data collection skill, because I really want to understand where this person's coming from. Because when someone does something or says something or asks something, a lot of us generally, especially we have a lot of wounds or traumas that we haven't healed through, we want to really react straight back to them. Where that's not the smartest thing to do if you're trying to make a great decision, is you want to understand, where's this person coming from? So if someone was to come up to me and say something that's quite abrupt or quite urgent or quite triggering to me, yes, I still get triggered. I'm a human being just like you. So I do my best to regulate, well, like I said in the first step. So, okay, let's regulate. But then I change my perception as best I can and my intention to, I want to understand this person. I want to understand, where are they coming from? What are they wanting? What are they looking for? So I can have that better energy and output in that conversation. Because we've all been there, right? When you know someone isn't listening to you, they don't want to listen to you, they're looking for an argument, they don't really give a shit what you're saying, and it doesn't really foster a good conversation. So just shifting your intention from listening to react or listening to respond. And I'm very guilty of this. Like someone saying something and you've already got in your head what you're going to say. You're just waiting to say it. You're waiting for them to stop talking so you can like pounce on them and let it rip. Is really just being honestly present and actively listen to understand, because it will give you the ability to collect more data. So then you've got the ability to make a better decision. Okay. So I hope that helped out. And then lastly, last step. So step 4 is really listen to your intuition. You've got 3 brains, and I know some people joke like, well, most people act like they haven't got one. You've got your brain, you've got your stomach, and you've got your sexual, I guess, brain, as they say. And because your stomach, your intuition, you might hear the term, you've got a gut feeling on my stomach, or I've got a bad feeling about this in my stomach. There's literally neurons in your stomach lining. So we've literally got another brain inside of us. Also your heart. I didn't mention the heart. You've got the heart as well. So you've got these other ways of thinking, these other neurons in your body that most people don't tap into. It's how you can feel someone from a distance. It's like, when you meet someone and you don't like them straight away, and then they say something and you're like, yep, that's why I don't like them. You could feel that, right? It's the energetics of what's going on, because you've got an intuition, you've got a spirit, you've got a soul. So your intuition is generally pretty spot on. Most people don't listen to it though. So when you are, and this depends on the context. It depends what you're making the decision on. If it's a very analytical decision, it's like a profit and loss, it's very sort of numbers and spreadsheets, you might not need to use your intuition too much, because it's more so look at the numbers speak for themselves. But if you're making something that's a little bit less tangible, it's more about, what do I want to do? What am I inspired to do? What's the right thing to do? That's where I want to lean a little bit more into my heart, and I want to lean a little bit more into my intuition and into my gut. So what I would encourage you to do is learn to sit with things and learn to really lean into your intuition and lean into your spirit and lean into your soul and listen to the guidance that it's giving you, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be pretty spot on. I'm so guilty of analytically, it made so much sense and the numbers look great, the profit, the money, the whatever, the opportunity, but my intuition just really didn't want to do it. It was telling me, it was trying to pull me back, and then I do it anyways, and then it turns to shit to teach me the lesson to listen to my intuition. So I would really encourage you guys to strengthen that muscle as well, of leaning into your intuition, leaning into what your heart tells you, leaning into what your gut tells you, leaning into what your source and spirit tells you, rather than getting caught in your head. There's a quote that Tony Robbins says all the time: when you're in your head, you're dead. So if you're overthinking things and you're overanalyzing things and getting really caught up in your head, maybe take a bit of time, do a bit of breath work, meditate, do some journaling, and lean into what feels right. What is my intuition telling me? What's the best decision for my purpose in life? What's going to help me fulfill my mission in life? What am I inspired to do right now? What's the right thing to do? Because if you are a genuine good person, good human being, listening to your intuition is going to allow you to listen to that guidance and that intelligence to lead you to your inspired life. I hope that made sense, and I hope you got some value from this, guys. If you got some value, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Please send this to a friend. I'll just rehash it really quickly for you. Number one, regulate your emotions. The more drunk you are on emotions, the less information you see, the more reactive you're going to be, the worse decisions you're going to make. Two, get as much data as you can. Don't feel pressured or bullied into making a decision on the spot if you don't have to. There will be times where you need to step up, you need to make decisions, you need to be swift, you need to pivot really quickly, but more often than not, that's not the case. You're able to say, hey, look, I don't have the information needed to make a decision right now. Give me 2 days. Let me go think about it. Let me go plan through it. Let me go make the necessary phone calls and get back to you with a proper answer. Three, listen to understand. Don't listen to react and respond. So when you're talking to these people, when you're having a tough conversation, when you're negotiating with someone, really listen to understand, where are they coming from? What do they want? What's their motive here? What are they looking for? So listen to understand. Don't listen to react. And number four, lean into your intuition, lean into your heart, lean into your stomach, lean into your spirit and guide for what it is that you want to do. I hope this helped, guys. Hope you got value from it. If you did, hit me up, send a message. If you're interested in learning more and diving deep into my content, lewishuckstep.com. My mastermind is there. We go deep into all this stuff: purpose, mission, vision, mental and emotional limitations, creating a life on your dream, building and scaling a business, and you get all access for free for a month just for getting started. Hope you guys are well. Have an amazing day. See you on the next one. Bye.